school nerds. So today, as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about the struggles of being a college student. A lot of y'all have been asking me to do a school video, and I was going to combine high school with this one, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep that one separate because I feel like we got a lot to discuss about high school as well. We're going to get straight into this one, but don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys want to see more of these type of videos. There is never parking at college. You are spending your family's whole life savings to get to a parking lot that has negative spaces available. You might even have to make up your own spaces just to get tickets from campus police. You get more tickets than you get assignments. And do you have money to pay for the tickets? No. You don't even have Monopoly money. Often the case, you might spend more time looking for parking than actually being in school. Finding a spot is like finding a needle in a haystack. You've been searching for so long, you don't know what your degree is anymore because you're in this maze runner death trap of asphalt. And is it just me, or are the parking lots forever under construction because they're expanding? There are specific parking lots that will be under construction all 4 years of college. And don't let two people see the same spot because it's going to be a fight to the death. Generally, you'll have the same driving skills as SpongeBob. But once you see that open space or someone pulling out of that space, you think you Dom Toretto. Let's ride. Let's ride. For the most part, getting your syllabus is like the first couple of days of school, if that. This is one of the more favorable weeks of school because you usually have the least amount of work. Usually. Some people think it's like this glorious ass week, but others know what's really about to go down. There are some of those classes that do you bogus and get straight into it day one and start signing mad work. You think you about to have it easy, then the professor looks at you like, you look at the syllabus and sometimes day two you already got a test. The veterans already know the syllabus can make it or break it for you. It's never amazing or anything, but you can either deal with it or it's a big fat nah, this ain't it. You gotta skim through the syllabus of each and every class just to see if you about that life like. Besides college itself as a whole, college books are the biggest scam. College books are basically that one kid from high school that messages you randomly after 15 years about a pyramid scheme. The biggest question is, why are the books not covered by school loans? You can buy your own library with how much the book costs. They supposedly hold all this valuable information, which is the key to success in a lot of classes. Which is also BS because half the time you cover like 10% of the book, but it's required for class. But let a new edition come out that has maybe like 3 new phrases in it. And the one you just sold your soul for is out of date now. The book just ghosted you because the new edition just updated its acknowledgement page. So since your book is out of date now, what do? You go back to the store where you got it from and try to resell it to them. The resale value for books makes GameStop look like amateurs. Reselling books comes in 2 scenarios. You just paid $500 for one book. It's not out of date or anything. I don't care if you have a receipt or just bought the book. You left the store for 2.4 seconds. The best I can do is $2 and a pat on the back. But an even worse situation is when you try to resell a book that's recently out of date. They don't already update the inventory and using the old books as firewood. But you still come in there like,
give me my damn money back right now and I don't have no damn receipt.
The money they offer you to buy back the book is laughable, and sometimes they don't even buy it back. You try to sell an outdated book and somehow you owe them money. Oh, you want us to buy back this outdated book? Let me see what I can do for you. Hold on. You know what? Give me $3 and I'll take it off your hands. After being in college for like less than a week, you can really start to assess if you made off for the college life. People start dropping out of class and even the whole school like flies. Even yourself, you start to think, I'm not built for this. Is this stress and depression really worth the next 4 years of my life?
No, it's not.
Everything but college sounds amazing. You see these YouTubers with $1 million houses. People making OnlyFans accounts making more than both what your parents make combined. You see Tyreek from Power have his side gig and you over here thinking like, that may not be such a bad idea. But then you're like, you know what, forget that. I'm gonna push through all 4 years and get this degree. And while you were just giving yourself that pep talk, you were just cutting up a Sour Patch Kid in a third to last you for food throughout the day. When you get to college, your mindset is completely fresh, unburdened, and just ready for the challenge of college. But after being in college for a couple of semesters, all that changes. You start setting realistic but unrealistic goals to your current life situation or work ethic. Things like, I'm gonna start eating breakfast before school. Realistic, right? You need breakfast, one of the most important meals of the day to get you fueled. But realistically, what are you eating for breakfast? You having sleep for breakfast and then washing it down with a snooze button like 5 times. Now you barely have time to blink, let alone eat before class. Realistic goals just start getting out of reach as your life spirals out of control. People want to know what's worse than a heartbreak. Well, have you ever had your computer crash and delete your whole project? Well, that's it. Sometimes you get so enveloped in a paper or project, you forget to hit save or back up a file. Luckily, most programs come with the autosave feature, but sometimes that don't even matter if your whole file gets wiped. But you will learn the hard way to start backing up files if this ever happened to you. You might even back up a backup to play it safe. But the feelings you get when you lose a whole project is like, So I'm not gonna get into this one too deep because I made a whole video about the types of people in group projects. So do me a favor and check that one out after this if you haven't already done so. Bottom line though, I'd rather run into a wall at full speed than do a group project. Registering for classes will always be stressful. Whether you're early or late, something always seems to not go your way. You have plenty of time to register for classes, but even when you try to get the classes that you need with the schedule that you want, something seems to go wrong. There's nothing like registering for classes just to find out that they clash. You had a whole order in your mind that you wanted to take the classes, but now you can't because they overlap each other and there weren't many options to begin with. And since you can't be in two places at once, you gotta take the L and just let one go. Now on the other hand, the class that you want might be full. This can depend on the popularity of the class or just because your ass was hella late. Either way, you watching the class roster like the NBA draft and hope you get picked when someone drops out. Before we talk about this one, for the record, I don't care how this is spelled. I will forever pronounce it FAFSA. FAFSA is honestly the worst. Filling it out is like solving a Rubik's Cube behind your back in the dark, and then you don't get anything out of it because they said so. You could be from a different planet, both your parents deceased, and FAFSA will still deny you because you make more than $1 a year. They'll be like, even though you don't live with your parents or even have parents, let me tell you why we won't give you a dime. Oh, your parents used Rosebud on Sims to get extra simoleons? Denied. You got free candy on Halloween? You just want all these handouts, huh? Denied. You got guacamole at Chipotle? Stop playing, you got money. Denied. You've ordered 2 toppings on your pizza before? You know what? Denied. Roommates is like either hitting a jackpot or being in prison with a cellmate. You are not forced to live with another human that wasn't raised like you. We're gonna talk about the cellmate roommate. They don't pick up or clean up after themselves or have any sort of consideration. They be playing loud music early in the morning or late as hell for no reason at all. They got something in there that smells like a decaying animal. Now you can't have company over in your 1x1-inch dorm room. If you're lucky enough to have your own bathroom, that's cool, unless you gotta share with them. Because now it looks like they cooked a doo-doo hairball grenade in that joint and blew up a Call of Duty camper. But one of the worst commandments they can break as a roommate in any sense is eating your food. I don't care if it's the last sip of milk. You can't cross that line. The struggle is real in college. College meals ain't nothing but ration and morsels day to day, and then you want to eat mine without permission?
I will scramble your ass, monopolize you, connect for your motherfucking eye.
Student loans and grants are almost always required to cover the cost of college. Because no one's parents are like, here's all the money you could ever want for college. Enjoy your 4 years with this surplus of cash. Grants are cool because you don't need to pay them back as long as you pass class and finish school. School loans though, you'll probably be trying to pay those off forever.
Forever!
You'll take a loan out for more than what you need and that'll even cover everything. People in other countries are laughing at our education system. You could have put down on like 10 houses with all the loans you took out. The school will list things outside of room and board and the fine print is wild when it comes to college costs. Housing is $10,000, the meal plan's $20K, the books will run you about 100 G's, but that's not all. You gotta pay just to exist. You gotta pay for breathing, the sun's rays, the season pass, extra downloadable content. You may not have gotten a full ride, but you're gonna be looking up the most insane things to see if you qualify for a scholarship. Because who doesn't want free money, especially when it comes to school? There's a scholarship pretty much for everything. Being left-handed, being short or tall, even one for the zombie apocalypse. Your dignity is so non-existent, you'll apply for anything. 23andMe says I'm like 3% black. They at least gotta give me something. The library is a good place and setting to study, but also a good place to people watch. It's always an adventure. It's like Silent Library with a twist. There's so many different types of people in there. You might witness people attempting to study before having a breakdown, people crying, or even a couple going through a Maury show breakup. There's different levels of all-nighters. There's the people who actually do all-nighters. I don't care how thoroughly they've studied, they will actually lose sleep over this subject. Then there's the people who say they'll pull all-nighter but give up like halfway in when they figure out how much work they gotta tackle. Now the lowest tier of all-nighters is a person who doesn't attempt an all-nighter at all. They give up without even trying. No effort whatsoever, because at this point, if they don't know it, they just don't know it.
One thing I have realized, that if God don't do it, it just won't get done.
Naps hit different when you get to college. Because there's the naps in high school when you used to play sports, but then there's the naps when college played you.
But imagine how tired we are.
Naps are the key to success in college. I don't care how big you are, that little twin-sized bed be hitting. You can be booked and busy all day, but you always got time for a nap. Got too much schoolwork to do? Nap. Ain't got no food to eat? Nap. You don't know what's going on in your life? Nap. Sometimes the pregame is more lit than the party. And then other times you'll go overboard and not make it to the party at all. But the best parties are usually when you have something important to do the next day or that week. And as a responsible college student, you go to the party.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Skipping class is just sometimes necessary to keep your sanity. Attendance is mandatory, but none of that matters when your life is in shambles.
I'm not gonna be here.
But it can also backfire. Most people are skipping class because they're dead tired or need to catch up on stuff from another class. And it's most likely a combination of the two. Now you're even more depressed because you should have just went. So what do you do now? Nap. Some people skip more classes than there is school days. And then you get your grade back and you just like so perplexed that you failed.
How, Sway?
People always want to know when their sleep schedule gets messed up in life, and it's usually college. In high school, you can wake up at the crack of dawn just off pure will and alarm and decent food.
This is amazing. I feel incredible.
You'd have class all day and do more stuff after school than you can name. But college is different, and caffeine becomes your best friend. You don't even know what planet you're on until you have your caffeine. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner might only consist of coffee, and then some Red Bull for dessert. Then you're taking it so much that the daily dosage ain't working no more. At times, you realize it's a problem, so you try to wean yourself off of it. Now that one day you tried to not have caffeine, you sitting in class like,
I need it!
you'll completely forget the entire lecture, zone out as soon as you walk in class. Sometimes not even understand what's going on.
This is good because I could barely read, so.
But somehow you can calculate the exact number of questions you can get wrong to pass the test. Sense of time when you get to college is out the window. This can either work with you or against you. You ever had a test Friday, but it's actually next Friday? That's what I mean. But on the other hand, you might get to a class where people are pulling stuff out of their bags that you don't have with you. You looking around trying to figure out what's going on. Now the teacher is going around passing out a test that was on the syllabus and talked about 50 times prior to this day. And you just sitting there like,
It's only my third day out here. I don't know.
the biggest problem with school always goes back to money. College students are living out of their cars at the colleges they get accepted to. You gotta move different when you broke in college. You'll be checking your bank account on your phone in the public, and then you gotta lower your brightness just so no one knows how broke you are. But sometimes your balance pleasantly surprises you. Now you gotta treat yourself to a Wendy's 4 for $4. But the worst is when you buy something for $2 and then all of a sudden you're negative $350, and that's not even including overdraft fees. But every broke college student starts to become a hustler in one way or another. You start finessing the school, even if it's just little things. And you have every right to do so with how much school is. Stealing toilet paper from campus bathrooms is definitely come up. That one-ply sandpaper hits different when it's free. You'll try to make money on the side when a job isn't enough. You'll be Googling black market stuff like, do I really need both butt cheeks? You want something bad to happen to you, and it's gotta be on the school grounds and the school's fault. Not like death or anything, but like if a school bus were to hit you or a towel from the ceiling crashes down on your head. And whatever happens to you, it don't even have to hurt because your acting skill is gonna be on 100. You just try and secure the bag and get a fat check from school.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Doing anything but your schoolwork is a way of life. You might look up a specific YouTube video and it may even be class related. Once you get to that video though, YouTube throws a curveball and suggests a video that has nothing to do with the topic that you originally searched for. And since you fell for the trap, you're over here like, damn, bees are really interesting. Now you're hours deep into some random videos and then you start to get to the weird side of YouTube and wondering how you got there.
I'm a snake.
Another form of procrastination is when your teacher challenges your abilities and says you can't do the paper the night before, and they warn you multiple times. Now forward to the future, it's 11:59 and the paper's due at 12 a.m. And you over here typing up, in conclusion, you didn't put MLA or APA format, you didn't spell check or proofread at all. But you submitted it and hope for the best like, the seat you sit in on the first day of class is the seat you sit in the rest of the semester. It's an unwritten rule. If someone sits in your seat, they throw off the whole balance of the class. You and everyone else in the class knows this fool took your seat, but no one else cares because they're in their seat. Now you just stand there all awkward, not knowing where to sit. So the only thing you can do is throw hands with the perpetrator.
I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
Online classes are okay if you're disciplined enough to actually do them. As long as you turn in your assignments, you should be good to go. Most teachers require that you check in by leaving substantive posts throughout the week. This is generally done by starting a topic or responding to someone else's topic in the thread. You might mess around and leave a reply like, wow, I completely agree. You took the words right out of my mouth. You know, I couldn't have said it any better myself. You know what? Amen. Your social life goes from 100 to 0 real quick. In the beginning, you're texting nonstop, got hella group chats, meeting new people, maybe even dabbling in the dating scene.
Hey, I think
Later on, you're only texting your mom, and then she's asking is everything okay, and you're like,
Oh, don't cry, are you?
I don't care if you get good or bad grades. This will always be a love-hate relationship. The most toxic relationship that you'll ever have isn't with your ex, it's with your grades. Obviously, good grades is the end goal for each class. But when you factor in all these other variables, it's definitely something hard to achieve, especially when you're paying a fortune to live. But one of the best feelings in the world is when you think you bombed the test, but you actually did decent, so you just leave the class like... RAs are the college hall monitors. They're there to make sure the people on your floor or building are law-abiding citizens and ain't acting up. As time goes on, you start to realize who's the cool ones and who's the not so cool ones. Because the not so cool ones think they're the police when they're really just top flight security. If by cooking you mean microwaving the most sodium-infused processed foods, then yes, cooking is a thing. You live, eat, and breathe ramen noodles, and they be coming in clutch. Because not everyone can afford the lavish hospital food meal plan. So this is where the real struggle meals come into play. You can always tell who the new people are at school. They're all uppity and chipper, probably laid out their school clothes the night before. Then there's the students who are just trying to survive. It's not like you get a new bag of clothes every day. The only bags you get is under your eyes. The whole college is looking like a pajama version of Naked and Afraid. You might be stressed out to the max about the college life, but at least you're semi-comfortable while doing it. You don't know how you made it here, but after long days, long restless nights, a lot of breakdowns, you actually here. Everyone is proud of you, you're taking pics, the congratulations start rolling in. You even get unknown congratulation texts from people you don't even know why they still have your number. You and your best friend graduating together, considering you still have friends, like...
Look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
You might not give an individual speech out loud, but if you could, it'd go something like this.
I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off.
Are all nerds as good as you?